Okay, I'm in.
What's up, everybody? This is that Brown Bat back for another mod thing. Alright, so I just happened to be looking at the Dragon's Domain surface, and I'm like, yuck, I don't like it. I don't like it. Alright, so I don't like it. So the cliff part is fine. You know, the rock. And one of the things we try to do, I'm not going to do, I was thought maybe, you know how when you have the cliff, I thought maybe doing this, but then I remembered what it looks like here, and it's not that pleasing to the eye, I don't think. I mean, I guess in a pinch, but it doesn't look like good walking surface. It just looks like it's supposed to be something that goes straight up and down, not flat across. So I'm not going to change it to that. But what am I going to change it to? Well, I don't know what file this actually comes from, but what I did, I think it comes from one of the playsets. So this is what I did. I went to, and if you don't know how to get to, if you don't know anything about modding, do not start here. Please don't. You'll mess stuff up. But in case you didn't know that, and the quickest way to get to your assets folder is, and the gold edition, is to go through Steam and right click on the. Well, apparently. You can't while it's running. Can't get it to stop. There we go. Alright, so you can. I don't know, locked up. So, go to Manage and then Browse Local Files. And it'll take you right there. I have it over on my quick, over on the left hand side, right? So I already have it over there. I just have it under Steam Apps, Common, and then you go to Disney Infinity 3.0. So anyway, take you to the same place. So anyway, you want to go to the assets. If you're not going to have all these folders, more than likely. I have it backed up 1, 2, 3, 4 at different stages. I have the Apollo mod backed up, and there were some things in there that I didn't like, so I'm like, you know what, before I actually tweak that, let me figure out what I can do in the original before I do anything with Apollo mod. But anyway, that's where I started, though. That's where I learned, is so Tiro Cohn's tutorial on unpacking the Apollo mod, because the preliminaries he goes over really quick, but anyway, if you're going to mod Disney Infinity, you need to know those preliminaries. Anyway, assets folder, and this is how I browse the textures. Once everything's unzipped, go in there. Okay, so what I did is I copied everything, right, into another folder. Of course, here, textures.old. That's another one. Now, there are other textures hidden in other zip files and other folders. Particularly the ones you're going to want would be in the materials, and all these would be zipped. Right? So you unzip them. You do not unzip them with WinRAR. You don't unzip them with 7-zip. You don't unzip them with Windows Zipper, whatever it is. You don't do that. Not with Disney Infinity 3.0. It worked for 2.0, but not 3.0. You have to use something called Quick BMS. Anyway, I had all these. I unzipped everything just to find all the textures. Then I threw everything in another folder. I didn't copy it. I didn't cut it. Copied it. So I made a duplicate. And so I ended up with all these textures, and if your computer's slow, forget about it, because I went through the process of elimination, and I eliminated, I think, 13,000 of them were so small that I didn't figure it would be anything. But even though I threw 13,000 of them away, there's about roughly 20 some odd thousand left. Aye. All right. So what did I do? I did it twice. Just see what I could find. Different textures that are used in playset, different textures that are carried over from 2.0. And then I just started sorting them out. I'm like, all right, this one looks like dirt. So I don't have the bitmap bump maps for everything. Okay, so that's what I did. And if you want to know how, let me take a couple here. I want to show you this. I mean, this might help you out because I was just looking for textures, and maybe you get bored one day. So let me just take a couple of these out of the texture folder and copy them. So I'm going to show you this trick, what I used. I'm going to paste these in here. Nope, put it in another folder because I'm going to delete it. Delete me. Paste those in there. All right, so the textures come in a T-body form, and if you just change the extension to .dds, then it's usable in other programs. Because from what I understand, they actually are DDS files. They just changed the extension to T-body. They didn't do any conversions. Or I guess there's no such thing as a T-body, for real. But anyway, the programs that I have don't open them. I mean, they don't properly save new ones, so I can't mod my own. I can't make my own. So I'm replacing them. I can customize characters. For some reason, they operate a little bit different for character texture maps, but the ones for materials, for some reason, it just Disney Infinity renders it ineffective. So just replacing them with what I think is I like, that's what I do. So if you have 1,000, 2,000, 20,000, 30,000 T-bodies in a folder, right? Don't change them in the actual asset folder because your game won't work. It's programmed to read T-body, not DDS. So that's why I made backup, and then I wanted to see what they were without opening every single one of them and seeing if they'd open. And I used Shader Map. It's a $40 program, and just opening that to see what it is. It's like, do I need that? So to save time, what I did, so I copied this code down. It's to batch change file extension. So what you need to do is, this is, all right, ren space asterisk, okay, and in this case we're changing T-body, so there's no space between the asterisk, so .T-body space asterisk, and then you're going to say, now in this case it was T-body.dds because I wanted to keep the T-body. So you're going to change it to the new extension. So this is how you do that. I'm going to copy this line of code right here. I'm going to go back to the folder. I don't know why I just copied that because I'm going to copy something else. So go back to the folder. This is delete me. Where is it? All right, delete me. So I'm going to go up to the bar here and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to search for CMD, which is command prompt. And what you're going to do is you're going to type CD space, then paste, which you just copied, which is the location of that folder, and hit enter. And now we're in. And then we need that line of code that I just read off to you. And what it's going to do is it's going to search for T-body, and then it's going to convert it to the one after the asterisk. All right, spaces are important, and I'm never going to memorize that, so I have it copied in here. And so then after you have that, or you just hit Control V, enter, And look at that. Everything's now a DDS file. Done with that. Done with that. So that's what I did. And I just started browsing through. And it's good to find stuff. The only thing is, all right, so something like this, these are in the icon folder. But something like this, I'm not going to know where that's attached to unless I start browsing through other things. But the reason I did this was to get an idea of things what do I want to replace? And I want to replace Dragon's Domain because I don't like the surface of it. Okay, so with that being said, now I have to show you this. Where are the majority, and let's delete that because I don't want it. Where are the majority of the material textures or the materials stored? And all of this is, these are files stating the texture links that create the material. So the textures are not necessarily in these folders. So where is it? All right, so it's in materials. So I want to hold that one. Let me find another way to get there. Right here. All right, so in the assets folder, materials, and normally, let me show you what it looks like in the original and the backup with nothing touched. So if I go to materials, see all these say zip files. Well, you can't. Yeah, it's like these aren't real zip files. Of course they're not. So once all those were unzipped, I did a search for .mtb, and I believe that stands for material base. Could stand for material something else, but it's material. It's material. All right. So not everything that you unzip is going to be those files. All right. So then you're going to look for, in the case for Dragon's Domain, you're going to look for materials _worlds _rr. That's Rumpus Room _ all right, so now you gotta know what you're looking for. All right, because some of these are interior, some are I call it exterior. Toy Box or Rumpus Room. All right, so for example here, Rumpus Room, ATL foliage. What's ATL? That's Atlantis. So foliage, those are the plants that are associated with it. BHSX, that's Big Hero 6. You also have BH6, the same thing. All right, track, that has to do with the racetracks. All right, so RR _CA, Stone Pile. CA is cars. RR, Rumpus Room, BRV, that's Brave. RR _CAPA, that's Captain America theme, and that is, if I'm not mistaken, all those, ceiling, floor, trim, wall, those are in the interior. City, those are the city ones, terrain and stuff like that. So DC is Disney Castle. Decorator Edna, that actually is the townsperson. So why that's in here and not in the other files for townspeople, I don't know. They did what they did. I wouldn't have put her in this file, but anyway, don't change it. It won't work if you change it out. Don't do that. Material Worlds RRDEF, that's your default interior. Material Worlds RRDRA, that's Dragon Domain. So Dragon Domain, I don't want the ground accent, I want the ground main, which is the grass. Okay, so I have this program called HexD. It's a hex editor, and this one's free, is free, and I don't know if they're all free or not, but this works. And I have the parameters set for 12. This is going to bring I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 columns. And let me open up Dragon's domain, ground main. I'm just going to move that in there. And because it's set to 12, it's going to have everything lined up really nice. I don't know if every game does that, but this one does. And what you're going to look for is where you see FFF, FFF, FFF. All right, those are the materials. I don't know what all the other stuff is, and frankly, I don't care. So I'm going to copy all three of those lines, because as of right now, I don't know which is which. I know one's going to be a bump map, usually. One's going to be a diffuse map, which is your color texture. And the other one could be gloss, could be your occlusion map, could be a blend map. I don't know. There's only three of them here. So, I mean, actually, I do know because I've done this like 5 times. But, but if this was my first time with Dragon's Domain, I wouldn't know. So, I have a notepad open here. I'll paste that in there. So, what I want to do is make rows of all three, so I can paste it in Excel and go from there. All right, so now we have all that nice and lined up in 3 different rows for 3 different materials. And I'm gonna go to my Excel that I have opened up, and you can use the free, Windows has a free version of this, I believe, if you don't want to spend the money to get this. And if they're still, I don't recommend buying this. I bought it. I think I had to buy it twice because it wouldn't work on. I only had 2 licenses. I did not want the online version. Anyway, so when you paste them in there, you're going to see spaces. Well, if you search for the texture base in the assets folder with spaces in there, you're not going to come up with any results because they're not listed with spaces. So what I'm going to do is Control F to find, and find what? 1 space. I'm just going to hit the space bar 1 time, and then Alt P, or use the mouse, whatever, to replace it. Replace with nothing. Don't put anything in there. Make sure it's nothing. And then I'm going to find, or not, I'm not going to find all, I'm going to replace all, so Alt A. All right, now we have one more thing. We got to get rid of those F's because those F's are not in the actual file name. So now it might end with F, so you got to make sure you delete the right amount of F's. So how many F's are there? I think there's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8. So this one ends with an F. So next thing we're going to find is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 F's replaced with nothing. Alt A, boom. Got that part. Get rid of that. And now I'm going to copy that cell, and then I'm going to go to the texture folder that I already have open, and I am going to Control F, Control V, and find that texture. All right. Now, if that texture is tucked away somewhere, it's not going to find anything. So that's why I went through and I unzipped everything. All right, from the material folder. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go to another folder that I made called Texture Backups. And I made a folder called Dragon Domain Terrain because as I'm going through things that I'm modding, I want backups. In case it doesn't work, I can just go in the backup and guess what? Redo it without having to go to the main backup and remember what I did. I can just go right here and it's all labeled and easy doings. All right, so make a folder in the folder, and I'm going to call this Burger King backup, really. And then I'm going to paste that in the backup. All right, so we have 2 more folders or files that I'm going to search for. Do the same thing. All right, as of now, I don't know what these are, right? So these are in the backup, so I'm going to copy those back out of there and then paste them outside here. I'm going to take these. And number 1, we can use that trick that I just showed you for the batch, but there's only 3 files in here. I'm not going to use that code and open up command prompt. I'm just going to go and go .dds. That was a bad choice. I had them all selected. Don't do that. Control Z, one at a time. Oops. I want it to be at the end. There. Alright, so let's make that bigger. Of course, that looks familiar. What is this? Well, I originally thought this was the gloss file. It is a blend. They have it blended. Because if you remove this from, if you remove this from the equation, it's going to render everything black. So it all has to do with how these are particularly hooked up in the when they did the software and made the material. So, but what am I going to do? I'm going to replace these with something that I like. All right, so something that I found. Let's see. To be sorted. All right, so that's the file I named it. And so let's find something decent. So let's see. We can do dirt. So I could put that in dirt, or I could maybe... this is the cool grassland that I found in there for... I think it's for Force Awakens. I could be wrong. Here's the Dragon's Terrain Cliff, but we don't want that. So I'm just going to move that into dirt. Not doors, dirt. And that's what I used for Halloween Town, by the way. And let's see. Alright, this one has more in it. I'm going to have to wait for my computer to catch up. Load all those files. Okay. I'm looking for a specific bump map that I don't remember the name of. I think it starts with EE. Apparently not. I know it's 341 kilobytes. I know that. Alright, I found it. I typed in EE. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, it's EEE60E09-7F3F45EB.T-body. Boy, and then the duplicate is EFB6AEE2F5, blah, blah, blah. All right, so found them. And I also found 56 or 54 other ones that I said, oh, let's put these somewhere. Where are we going to put them? Well, I'm going to throw them all right outside there. 4. It was pretty dumb that I just did it that way, but let's refresh. And let me just go through and pinpoint the ones that I want and move them to dirt. Alright, so this one looks pretty cool. This one, actually, I've tried this one. It's kind of dark, so you probably don't want that one. So we can try So yeah, let's. You know, there was one that I found. I said, "Ooh, let's take this one." And here it is. Yeah, so let's try this, even though there's no proper, I haven't found a proper bump map for it. Alright, so I'm thinking about taking this and taking this and just copy them I'm not going to cut them. I'm going to copy them. Bring them out to Dragon's Domain Terrain. And make a folder in here called Mods. Paste those 2 in there. Take these because we're going to have to mod those. Replace them. I just need the file names really, but... Okay. One more thing, because this overlay is going to affect anything that we do. So we need something that's as close to gray with very minimal other markings. So is this one that's too dark? This white right here might be appropriate, so I'm going to take that one. If it doesn't work, then I know where to find another one in the city building set. So let's try that. Dragon Domain, Mods, paste that. So one of the things I like to do, in case I totally mess up, is make another BK folder in there, which is going to have all these. Just in case I mess up. Alright, so the original ones, that's original, that's original, that's original. So I want to just take these names. Remember, when I renamed them, I just put DDS after T-Body. So when I just highlight or hit F2 to rename it, I can just copy that and cycle through. I'm going to replace it with this. Now I'm just going to override the file extension, and now it's a T-Body. Alright, so that's an original, and I'm going to just copy that one and replace the entire thing with that. And then that's an original bump map, and I mean, it looks like a bump map, and paste that. Now, I've tried this with different methods, and the bump map does not make a difference, and I don't know why with this one. And it could be in the somewhere in the code that this particular material for Dragon's Domain, maybe the bump map is like decreased so low where you don't notice it. So I'm just going to copy those and then go over to my textures, not the backups. Where is it? Not that one, this one. And then paste, and it should ask me to replace, and I'm going to say yes. All right, let's go back to Disney Infinity, and then we're going to have to load. Fingers crossed I don't have to do this again. It doesn't look too shabby. Of course, motion blur when you're running across, so you can't tell what's there anyway. But when I'm standing still, I can tell that that's grass and not whatever it was that they had Dragon's Domain. Of course, if I knew what movie that was from, it probably makes sense, but I don't care. Just like I know they didn't have green grass in Nightmare Before Christmas, but guess what? I'm not playing Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm playing Sabine tries to climb a mountain. Tries to climb the Oogie Boogie. What are you doing, Sabine? I'm doing the Oogie Boogie. It's a new dance everybody's doing. It's the Oogie Boogie. Everybody do the Oogie Boogie. Alright, so that's all that I had to show you for today. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, remember, use the Force, Sabine. But.